This is the best tour I've been on.
Hello guys, today here we are in Kyiv, Ukraine, and joined by Yana 222529. Hello Yana, thank you for coming.
Здравствуйте.
So Yana, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. So let's introduce you. Let our guys get to know you better. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Меня зовут Яна, как вы уже слышали. Мне 33 года, я работаю юристом и живу в Киеве, в прекрасной Украине.
Do you have any hobbies, interests? What do you enjoy?
Я обожаю картинг, быструю езду, посещать театры, музеи, концерты.
That's fantastic. So how did you find out about our agency? What made you join our website?
Я увидела рекламу в Инстаграме и решила, почему бы мне не попробовать наладить свою личную жизнь, потому что на нее не хватает времени из-за работы.
All right, and what kind of man are you looking for?
Я ищу мудрого, доброго, серьезного мужчину, который знает, чего хочет от этой жизни.
Age gap would you consider? So what if a man is a little bit older than you?
Знаете, у нас есть такая пословица «любви все возрасты покорны», поэтому я не ставлю никаких ограничений.
And have you ever been to our social events? And did you get any dates from it?
Да, была 2 раза. Вот, недавно проходил social. Мне все очень понравилось.
Did you go out on any dates after the social?
Да.
I'm assuming there's just no connection or chemistry, but so you're still searching for the life partner, right?
В процессе. Я бы сказала, что в процессе.
That is a journey for so in search of the life partner. That's correct. So a lot of our guys are a little bit afraid to travel into Ukraine. So you live here in Kyiv. What do you say about how things in Kyiv right now? Is it safe or dangerous for guys to come over here?
Я живу тут со времен начала войны и могу сказать, что если серьезно относиться к себе, ходить в укрытие, в убежище, у нас, слава богу, они есть везде, то это вполне безопасно.
So that's almost all my questions for today, except the last one. So imagine your future husband is watching us right now. What would you say to him?
Приезжай, я тебя жду. Возможно, ты тоже меня искал.
Guys, come here to Kyiv, meet beautiful Yana in the wonderful city of Kyiv. Have a good day.
I've enjoyed the tour. The 2 socials were fun.
You were dancing a lot.
Yeah, the last couple hours are my favorite when you can get on the dance floor. And I tried to dance with as many ladies as I could. And then
You got the moves.
I was having fun, you know. Narrow your list down as you go. Because if you just have 50 dates, 1 Tuesday, 1 Wednesday, I mean, I don't even remember, I can't even remember any dates because it's just...
Hello guys, here we are in Kyiv, Ukraine, and this is Travis. He just taken our tour to Kyiv, so we're gonna talk to him about his experience. So thank you, Travis, for joining us today.
Absolutely, yeah.
So can you tell a little bit more about yourself? So where are you from? What state? You know, what do you do for a living? Just briefly.
I'm from New York, upstate, not in the city. I work for a bank, and yeah, I had been having a great time in Kyiv.
Is it your first tour with us?
First tour to Kyiv, my second tour with AFA.
All right. What was the first one?
To Colombia, to Barranquilla.
Which one do you like better?
I've had a much better time here.
All right.
Yes.
So speaking of which, it's still war going on in Ukraine. What do you think about safety,
It's a little worrisome that there's a war going on, but once you get to Kyiv, the war isn't happening at their front door. So you don't forget about it, but it's not front and center.
So did you hear any air sirens? Did you go to shelter?
No, I have all like the air siren apps and, we have all the procedures, but never had to use them. So, which is really nice.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey to Kyiv? Because it's a little bit more difficult logistically now compared to before. You could just fly to Boryspil Airport. First of all, where do you fly?
Chopin Airport in Warsaw was the best way to come in, just land in there, and coming from there to Kyiv is the way I came in.
And it was a bus or train?
It was a bus. I took a bus in and I'm taking a train out.
So let's talk about beautiful ladies. Did you have any dates so far?
Yeah, I've had a few and they've been wonderful. I really enjoyed my time with some of these women.
And the socials, what are your impressions of the socials?
They're definitely something that I'm not accustomed to. And there are a lot of people, but my interpreters both were very knowledgeable and able to help me make it into a manageable scenario, a more like a familiar scenario.
So would you give any advice to the guys who are watching us right now who's thinking about coming to Ukraine and just not sure? Any tips for the guys?
Risk rewards the prepared man. This is pretty much the best phrase I've heard about it. As long as you're knowledgeable, you're on top of everything. There are more steps to it, but they're not difficult steps. It's definitely an experience that is life-changing. I've been on a few vacations before, out of the country before, but this was the most fun I've had in a long time.
That's good to hear. That's what we're here for. Actually, if we compare, dating Ukrainian women versus dating Colombian women, because, you went on dates with both, and I'm sure it's very different mentality, different mindset. How would you compare it? Again, any tips for dating Ukrainian ladies?
They're very traditional, which is exactly what I know myself and some of the other guys that I've grown close to and that we've been able to speak about. And, just very traditional. I guess movie-esque would be the best way, is like very formal and very, like, I don't want to say old time as a negative, but as in like a more traditional, like you said, traditional feel.
Interested? Learn more at
ukrainesingles.com.